purpose of this practice will be for caretakers, first responders, or anyone who needs to take in little information, respond and react quickly. So there are times when we all need to be able to respond quickly and make decisions. However, if we don't counter that and balance it with times where we relax, we breathe, we notice how we feel, it can lead to congestion, feelings of being stuck. This could be thoughts that are stuck in our mind. It could be a feeling of stuck or our harshness around the heart. It could also be feelings of stuck, undigested food that we've taken in. So the purpose of this practice will be to allow the mind, the heart, and the belly to relax, take in nourishment. So to begin, we'll start in a chair. Make sure that your feet are underneath your hips. So you might need to slide around in your chair to find that right place where the feet are planted underneath you. And if you're working with a desk, you could use the desk. If you're not, you'll use just elbows resting on your thighs, and then the palms of your hands resting your forehead. I'll also show you this from the side. And of course, you can close your eyes here if you feel comfortable closing the eyes. Allow the fingertips to rest on the top of your head, and really allow the back of your neck to be long, soft. Your hands are there to receive. And with your palms holding your forehead, you can even draw the skin of your forehead, draw the skin around the eyebrows down, dropping into the eyelids. So by pulling your forehead, just a slight degree of pulling the forehead down, it really does allow the brain to soften and relax. So this frontal brain is where we make these decisions, where we respond. We use our critical thinking. And right now we're just allowing that area to quiet. And the breath here is soft. So you're not consciously doing anything with your breath, but you might notice the breath a little bit elongated, a little bit softer. You might even start to notice your breath in your back body. So again, there's nothing that you have to do here. It's more a state of being. Notice how you feel when you take this moment to pause. And you might be thinking during the day, I don't have time to pause. I don't have time to stop. So practice this when you feel like you do have just a minute for yourself. And then eventually you might notice that 1 minute allowed you to refocus. And what would it feel like if you could take that 1 minute of time for yourself and build it into your day 3 times? When you feel ready, softly blink the eyes open, taking your time, noticing the floor, and then slowly release your hands. If they were resting on your desk, bring yourself back upright. And then we'll move into a breath practice to open up the spine. So readjust yourself so that you're in the center. On an inhale, you'll lift through the spine, and then on an exhale, you'll round and hunch the back. Inhale, lifting up, getting tall and open, and exhale, rounding back. The hands, as you'll notice, are on my knees, And I can use that as leverage when I round back on the exhale. I can straighten my arms and press back, and I take my gaze to my navel. And then when I inhale, I come up tall, and I can start to open through the collarbones and lift the chin. As you're doing this, notice any places along your spine that feel open to this, as well as any places along your spine that feel maybe a little bit congested. And if you want to pause in one direction, hang out there for a minute, breathe in that space. Everything's perfectly fine. This is your time. And for the last 3 cycles of breath, I'm going to ask you on the exhale to really draw your navel in. Draw it in strongly. And then when you inhale, open it up. So allow that skin to really open on the inhale and then contract strongly on the exhale. After 3 cycles, come just to sitting up tall. And then making some circles with your neck. So half circles going forward, chin to chest, and then ear to shoulder. And again, taking your time so that you can notice those places where maybe you feel a slight crick in the neck, and maybe you want to stay there. And this might be enough. So in those times when you've just made a decision and it's sticking with you, maybe you just do a couple of neck circles. And then chin to chest, pause there. And then inhale and slowly allow the head to float up on top of the shoulders. Now moving into a breath practice. So come to standing. You're going to take your feet slightly wider than your hips. You'll bend your knees and take your hands just on top of your knees. This is called Agnisara. And I've demoed this in another previous video, so if you want to learn more about the meaning of that, please, I recommend that you check that out. So as we were just doing the gentle stretching for the spine, now we're going to emphasize it by adding more attention and awareness to the breath. So I'll demonstrate and then I'll talk you through it. So you'll inhale, and then as you exhale, you'll round your spine and pull your abdominals in, and then inhale and exhale. So I'll show you from the side. You might notice that as I exhale, I really pull it in, and also my tailbone is going underneath me, and my spine is rounding. When I inhale, I release, let the abdominals drop to the floor, and then exhale again, pull it in. You can do this 6 to 10 times. I'm going to come out so that I can describe a few things about this and why this practice is so powerful, so necessary for first responders, decision makers, and caretakers. So this breath practice, you'll notice after you're continuing to do this 6 to 12 times that it generates some heat. So you might start to feel that heat in your body. What we're trying to do is contain, because sometimes our decision making leads us to feel that we don't have much control, or that others are demanding so much of us that we've allowed that control to be outside of us. So right now we're trying to contain, and as we contain, that will allow us the freedom, when necessary, that we can make conscious, clear decisions. So now I invite you, if you've been doing this, you might want to pause, and I'm going to describe going from side to side. So this time, as you exhale, just go to the right side and inhale center. Exhale right side, pull it up, come back to center. So we're cleansing out our internal organs. After 3 or 4, pause. Come to standing. And before you do the left side, notice the difference between the two sides. So we've got the ascending colon here, and a lot of times things can get stuck here. So you might be feeling, after just working that right side, that there's, again, a little bit of heat, there's more energy. Take the time when you're doing these practices to connect with what you feel. And when you're ready, we'll go to the left side. So as you exhale, pull up through the left side. Inhale to center. On this side, you've got your descending colon. And really, all of the internal organs are benefiting from this practice. As you keep going, I'm going to offer that for people who have had recent eye surgery, untreated high blood pressure, abdominal surgery, pregnancy, this is not a practice for you, and you would go back to the first practice where we were inhaling and exhaling, sometimes known as the cat-cow breath. That would be the breath that I would recommend if you have any of those conditions. So this practice of Agnisara builds heat and fire, which is really beneficial if you are someone who needs to use your decision-making skills on a regular basis. This would be a regular practice for you. Again, the containment, and then as you inhale, the nourishment is what you need. It's very powerful. So take your time really practicing that. And if it doesn't make sense the first time you do it, I would encourage you to keep practicing. Eventually, you will start to engage with what you're sensing. When you're ready, you'll bring yourself back up to standing. And at this point, bring your hands onto your hips. With your hands on your hips, press the hips down. Feel the support and the strength of your legs. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice the breath. Bring some awareness to your breath. Notice how just a few rounds may have changed how you feel internally, may also change how you respond externally. Release your hands and now start to do some shoulder rolls. So rolling through the shoulders. A lot of times we get tense and we forget how much tension we're creating around the heart. And then going the other direction. So you can make these small to start, but then eventually make it bigger and bigger. So you can really feel yourself opening up around the shoulders and the collarbones. After you do 3 or 4 in each direction, then bring your fingertips to your shoulders, and like you're drawing circles with your elbows, do 3 or 4 in one direction, and then 3 or 4 in the other direction. And as you do this, really feel your breath. Feel your lungs opening up. The lungs are supporting the heart. So allow big breath. And then release your hands. Shrug your shoulders up to your ears and then drop them down. You can even sigh as you do this. So as you inhale, shrug your shoulders, make your neck really small, shrug them up high, and then as you exhale, let them drop like you're dropping weight. Inhale, exhale. One more time. And exhale.